Okay, so I have done a little bit of a look into the the ethicality of streaming, and not necessarily the ethicality of streaming. There's nothing ethically wrong with that, but what are some issues that could come up with doing a live stream? Um, so ethical considerations. Um, what do we do in the event that a player slash caster does something morally wrong? Bigoted posts to social media, distasteful comments on live streams, etc. The circumstances can vary from case to case, but the best way to address a player or someone associated with the live stream doing something wrong is to assess the severity of the situation, decide on what an appropriate punishment is, and then make a post on social media informing the audience of what has happened and what actions are taken and why. Um, so, just an example, if someone were to make a post on Twitter saying something about the rights of LGBTQ members, um, the best way to approach that would be to tell the player to delete the post, decide what is appropriate. Was this a misguided opinion or was it clearly hateful? And then decide if the punishment should be removing them from the event altogether or um, making them do an apology and trying to educate them and allowing things to carry on as they were before. Um, in order to prevent this becoming an issue, we must talk with the players, casters, and everyone involved before we announce their affiliation and give a brief rundown of what is and isn't acceptable. Some examples: making racist comments that perpetuate stereotypes, making harmful comments toward those in the LGBT community, and being disrespectful to people's religious beliefs are all things that can be said, that can't be said, sorry, that can't be said by people who are affiliated with the live stream. Um, the only reason I say give brief rundown is because this should be common sense to most people. You still want to discuss it and just say you're going to be affiliated heavily with the organization in the run up to the stream. Um, these are things that are completely off limits. Just don't talk about them at all, preferably. Um, and if you are going to talk about them, do it in a tasteful um, and respectful manner. Um, what if there is an issue during the event? If there were to be an issue on stream, such as a caster making a distasteful comment or a player being toxic in chat, we could cut to a break between maps and have a discussion warning the party involved not to do it again and address the scenario in further detail after the stream. Obviously, if a player is saying heinous things, saying slurs in chat, or a caster is saying slurs, then that will be an immediate pause and potentially the event completely over. Um, but again, I think it's important to make a quick reaction of how distasteful was this? What is the severity of the situation? Is it something as simple as one of the players has been crouch spamming on dead opponents? Can we just say to them, stop doing that because it doesn't look very good on us? Um, and then carry on the stream as normal. Um, that needs to be decided in the moment. I think it's very case by case. In order to prevent any issues from taking place during the live stream, we must inform the players and casters of what is within the limits of sportsmanship and acceptable behaviour, and give an understanding of possible consequences to their actions if their actions were to cross the line of what is acceptable. This would include discussing with the enemy team beforehand whether or not friendly jokes are acceptable, such as crouch spamming and taunting in match chat. Another example is poor language. Swear words and slurs should be off limits for both casters and players to use. Make sure the rules are set in stone before the match starts. I think that is generally the most important thing here is make sure that everybody is aware, all parties are informed of what is and isn't acceptable behaviour to happen in and out of the live stream, in and out of whether or not you are affiliated specifically on that platform. Maybe you're doing a personal Twitch live stream, maybe you're posting to your personal Twitter. These things need to be monitored. Um, and these things need to be handled with care. Obviously, when you're managing a lot of people, it's difficult to control all factors. Some people are just idiots and are going to say idiotic things. I don't know whether or not that is an acceptable way to phrase it for college. Um, some people are going to say bigoted things. Some people are going to make comments which are not deemed acceptable. Um, and we can't control that. What we can control is giving out as much information and as much clarity to the players of what is and isn't acceptable behaviour, and hoping that they take that information and they realise, and hoping also that they're mature enough to not say silly things or not do silly things. Um, those are the ethical considerations and the possible challenges as well, I guess, that we could face um, going into doing a live stream. Um, so yeah,